We're just 3 days away. Can you believe this? After all that build and after all of this waiting, WrestleMania 30 is finally here. You know, we all have our problems with the WWE and Vince McMahon sometimes. I know I have given them a ton of shit, especially in the last few months when things were just going horribly wrong. And I've never been shy about ripping Vince McMahon apart when he does something ridiculous. However, every year around this time, I just seem to let it all go because I just can't shake this sense of pride that I have as a wrestling fan. You know, I've said many times, I am the perfect age to be a wrestling fan. Nobody has it better than me. And what lies at the core of all of my arguments with all of the haters out there and the people that just spew out all this hate towards the WWE and Vince McMahon and Triple H and John Cena, whining about how everything in the world is destroying pro wrestling and they have no idea what pro wrestling really should be, you know, and these kids are teenagers or people in their early 20s. They have a completely ass-backwards perspective of the WWE because they were children during the Attitude Era, and that's what shaped them into wrestling fans. They never fell in love with the art. They never fell in love with wrestling at all. They fell in love with the Attitude Era. They were kids during all of that. Now they're at the age where they can enjoy that type of content and it's not around anymore and they're fucking bitter about it. Now, I'm lucky. I have vague, sporadic memories of sitting in front of a TV in the 1970s and learning what pro wrestling was all about with some of those wrestlers like San Martino and Graham and Backlund. I was a young boy during Hulk Hogan's birth and the Rock and Wrestling. I was in my mid-20s during the Attitude Era. And I'm now a well-adjusted, successful adult in 2014, and I actually appreciate the kind of product that the WWE puts out, and I am amazed, you know, at the heights that they have taken their company to. When I was a kid 28 years ago in 1986 after WrestleMania 2, and they had the results of the show in the newspaper, you know, because this was only on closed circuit back then. You couldn't buy this on pay-per-view, and wrestling was still covered, you know, sort of in the mainstream. And I remember they had the big black and white picture of Hogan punching Bundy right in the head when he started bleeding, and that was the big cover shot on the sports page. And I remember having the conscious thought and actually saying out loud, wow, I wonder if there will ever be a WrestleMania 30. And here we are, a mere 3 days away from experiencing that very event. And now I want to say, I wonder if we'll ever make it to a WrestleMania 50. You think I'll still have a YouTube channel by then? Wow, I wonder how many of you will be sitting here listening to my WrestleMania 50 predictions 20 years from this day. So regardless of what your opinion is about the wrestling business or anybody involved with it or whatever your biased or hatreds are, and I know I have a few with the WWE, they do things all of the time that makes me want to pull what's left of my hair out. But despite all of the embarrassing shit they do and making me cringe on a regular basis, they also make me feel very, very proud. I think I've mentioned this in my last two WrestleMania prediction videos, that every year around this time, you know, I just get filled with this great sense of pride because I remember wrestling how it used to be when it was small. Vince has done well. He's done an amazing job. You know, with all of his failures also comes a lot of success. And I'm glad that pro wrestling has a Super Bowl type event that is now in its 30th installment. That's just amazing to me. And when it comes to what I want out of WrestleMania is, to me, it's not about who wins and who loses, who's put over, who's buried, who's not buried. It's whether or not I like the overall show. One match, one pinfall, one loss, or one victory from somebody who I like or hate is not going to make or break or ruin the show for me at all. And just the whole spectacle of it. You know, to me, it's just amazing for somebody like me to see this. You know, if you're young, you might not be able to appreciate it because all of the WrestleManias that you've experienced live have had this feel to them. But for us old geezers out there who remember a little bit more, you know, it's just amazing to see what WrestleMania has become. And I just want one thing on Sunday. I just want to be happy. I want to be taken on a ride. I didn't feel like I got taken on very good of a ride last year, and I want to be taken on a good one this year. And you know what? Even if, God forbid, Daniel Bryan is to lose, as long as the ride is still good, I don't care. As the great Bill Hicks once said, it's all about the ride. So with that being said, let's get into these predictions. I'm just going to wing this like I do every year. I do not think my prediction percentage is very good. It never is whenever I do a predictions video. You know, I always just wing them. I don't think about them ahead of time. I just look at my notes and I just spit out who I think's going to win. One of the big themes in my prediction video from last year was match placement. I think that's just as big of a theme this year because you know what? We don't have that many matches. By my count, we have 7. Is that right? And there's only one pre-show match. And the fact that WrestleMania is now 4 hours long, it has the same amount of matches that WrestleManias that have been 3 hours long have had. And I'm hoping that's because they are actually going to take the fact that this is WrestleMania 30 seriously, and I want to see a lot of cameos. Hogan is going to be hosting this thing. I expect him to come out into the ring. He'll probably cut a promo or something, kind of like how The Rock did at WrestleMania 27. I hope that Hogan doesn't get involved in anything major, but if he's got to be out there and throw a punch or do something to someone for nostalgia purposes, or if Piper comes out there or something, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of a little throwback, to WrestleMania 1. So as long as they don't get too ridiculous with it, I'm fine with Hogan doing whatever because, he was a big part of WrestleMania 1, and it's good to see him, at WrestleMania 30. I never thought I would ever say it's good to see Hulk Hogan, but I honestly, truly believe that for this particular show. I hope some stars get on camera. I know there's going to be a lot of people at the Hall of Fame the night before. Stone Cold might even be around. I would love to see Stone Cold and HBK and, anybody else that's around make some sort of a cameo appearance, whether it be in a backstage segment or, coming out to the ring or something like that. With only 7 matches, they have to have a lot of fillers in between some of these big matches that they're going to have no choice but to put back to back. You can't put a filler in between each big match, unless you do some backstage stuff. So I'm hoping for some really good and interesting things this year because the last few, backstage segments at recent WrestleManias haven't impressed me at all. As a matter of fact, the only one that I can remember recently that I found even remotely interesting at all was at WrestleMania 27 when The Rock had first come back and he crossed paths with Stone Cold in the backstage area. I thought given their history and how long The Rock had been gone, you never thought you'd see those two looking at each other on a WWE television show ever again. So the fact that they were, that was really cool. So I hope to have some stuff like that on Sunday, and I hope they fill it with as much nostalgia and appreciate, the milestone that they have reached throughout the show. Before we get into the main show, they did bump the tag team match to the pre-show. That's a shame, but at the same time, it's like a fatal 4-way match or a 4-team match, and I never really liked those anyway, so the fact that this isn't on the show, to me isn't that big of a deal, although I do believe that titles should be defended at WrestleMania. I think all the belts should be defended at WrestleMania, actually, and I think it's a shame that the Intercontinental title is not defended, the U.S. title is not defended, and the tag team titles are not defended on the show, yet all of those guys are wrestling. Ambrose is in the tag match, Big E's in the Battle Royal, what the fuck's going on here? Defend some of these belts. What the hell do you have belts for if you're not going to defend them on your big show? But the WWE is going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter what we think. I got to predict a winner in this thing, right? I predict the Usos to retain. They just got these belts. This is a pre-show match. They don't have any really hardcore feud going on with any of these teams, and it just wouldn't make any sense for them to lose it right now. Plus, a lot of the crowd will be filing in during this match, so you got to keep the tempo high, have the babyface win, the music, they can do their dance, celebrate with the fans, it just kind of gets them emotionally ready for the big, fireworks display and everything that will be, kicking off the show probably moments later. So for that reason, I predict the Usos to retain. As far as the main show goes, like I just said, match placement. It would be really nice to know the order of these matches, and I think if we knew the order of these matches, it would be a lot easier to predict the outcome. I have no idea what's going to open the show. I think I would like to see the Battle Royal open the show. It seems a little bit more traditional. The Battle Royal opened WrestleMania 4. It also opened WrestleMania 14. And I think it would give the Battle Royal a lot more meaning, instead of using it as a filler between two big mega matches. So I would like to see the show open up with the Battle Royal. Now I got to predict a winner, right? In a 30-man Battle Royal, I got to pick one guy. Here's what I think. I'm looking at the participants. I'm not really seeing anybody on there, who I think could potentially win or who's a shoo-in or, they're probably going to go with him. Basically, the participants are just the rest of the roster that doesn't have matches. So I just got to thinking, and I've come down to 2 possibilities. I think I would like to see the winner be either number 1, a surprise entrant. I don't know if all of the entrants have been announced. On the WrestleMania page, it still has 3 empty shadows there, so I don't know if that'll be announced on SmackDown or if those are just going to be surprise entrants on the show. So if they want to use the Battle Royal to bring back a returning star or maybe a returning legend or, just maybe some young guy from NXT that's kicking ass. Maybe the Rusev guy or somebody else, they come in as a surprise entrance and win the thing. If it's not going to be a surprise entrant, I almost think they might go with the Big Show. Oh, good mic work. What are you saying? The Big Show for real? Yes, the Big Show. Think about it. The guy has been in the WWE now for 15 years. He has built himself an Andre the Giant-like legacy. He's always been used as that special attraction, kind of the way Andre was a lot of the times, because he was so big and he was just such a spectacle. You know, people were going there just to see his size more than watching him wrestle. And then every now and then they would be involved in the big angles. You know, Andre was involved with some of the big title angles, just like the Big Show was. The WWE has touted and pushed the Big Show as the largest athlete in the world for so many years. He's had so many embarrassing losses at WrestleMania, Aki Bono and Floyd Mayweather and all of the other dumb shit they've made him do. And when he first came into wrestling, WCW billed him as Andre the Giant's son. He has a legacy, I think, that mirrors Andre. He's almost the same size, and he's made just a great career for himself, and he's had a very, very long run. For a man of his size, you know, he's pretty good in the ring. He's well-liked, you know, he's a good character. He has charisma. He hasn't been involved in some of the greatest angles of all time. You know, I mean, just back at Survivor Series, he got a title shot, remember? He was in the main storylines feuding with Randy Orton and the Authority and all of the horrible things that the Authority was making him do. So to me, if you have the Big Show win the Battle Royal, it kills like a few birds with the same stone. It gives the Big Show, you know, that great WrestleMania moment. I know he won the Intercontinental title, what was it, last year, but big deal. You know, it gives him a Battle Royal victory. He's going to be picking up a trophy of a guy that he's been compared to all of his career, you know, somebody that he, you know, probably looked up to and idolized. A legendary figure. To me, there's no other better star on the roster other than the Big Show to win a trophy like that. Also, a Big Show victory could be a nice little cherry on top of what could be a disastrous night for the Authority. I mean, think about it. If Triple H loses to Daniel Bryan, you know, and then Daniel Bryan wins the title, you think about all of the nasty shit that Triple H and Stephanie made the Big Show do a few months ago, you know, he gets his big victory. The Shield will most likely beat the trash out of the Outlaws and Kane, you know, it could just be a horrible night for the Authority. So a Big Show victory in the Battle Royal makes a lot of sense to me. So make it the Big Show or make it a young guy, but that's still two choices. I only can pick one. Fine, I'm picking the Big Show. It pains me to call this next match an undercard match, but it is. The Shield is going to be taking on Kane and the New Age Outlaws. I love the Shield, but I hate this match. I don't understand it. I think the Shield could be involved with something so much better. You know, there were the rumors that the three of them were going to have, you know, a triple threat match that would lead to their split or was the result of their split. And I'm actually fine with that not happening. I don't mind if they want to put off the Shield's split for a little while because things have changed. But at least put them in a little bit better of a match than this. Is there anybody out there that thinks Kane and the New Age Outlaws are going to win this match? I think the only way Kane and the New Age Outlaws win this match is if one of the Shield members defects and turns heel or turns on the other, and they make the split official right there and then at WrestleMania during the match. Otherwise, these three young bucks are going to eat Kane and the Outlaws alive. No question at all in my mind, barring any swerve, the Shield takes this match. Another pointless match, the Diva match. Although, you know, this match is going to be necessary. You know, if you have Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, and you're going to have Daniel Bryan and Triple H after that, you know, you got to have something in between. So this match should be perfect for that, and AJ Lee has got to defend her Divas title against every Diva on the roster. Another way to get everybody on the card. At least the WWE's thinking of their wrestlers and saying, hey, it would be nice if all of them could experience that, to walk down to the ring during WrestleMania and just feel that moment. Even if you're not in a significant match, just to be out there and not be stuck backstage, you know, just having to watch it on the monitor. So I'm glad that they're including everybody this year with the Battle Royal and the Divas match, but, you know, what kind of a match is this going to be? I'm going to pick AJ Lee to retain, easily. She's going to beat all 13 of these bitches. Winning the Divas title in the clusterfuck of all clusterfucks filler match would not be a good moment for any Diva, so I want AJ Lee to retain her title and to keep her reign going for as long as the WWE can tolerate that she's engaged to CM Punk and they rip the belt off of her. I'm not going to discuss whether or not the man she shits in front of will make an appearance at this pay-per-view or not. He is not with the WWE, so we are not going to talk about him. Alright, meat and potatoes time. I have no idea where this match is going to take place on the card, but we'll talk about John Cena and Bray Wyatt next. I have a feeling this match could be early. I think it could be second or third match. I think it could even be first match. How great would that be? You know, if it's not the Battle Royal and it's not Daniel Bryan and Triple H, I would love for it to be John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. That would tickle the John Cena haters right where it feels good. Imagine if John Cena jobs in the opening match of WrestleMania. How are you going to explain how John Cena is selfish and holds people back if that happens? I talked about this match in my last commentary, and I'm going to stick with my prediction. I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. I mentioned last time of the possibility that John Cena can win. A lot of people are, saying that, oh, John Cena's going to win and bury this guy that's just on the rise. He's so over right now. The fans love him. The WWE loves him. His character is amazing. John Cena's just going to end it, and Bray Wyatt will be mid-card by next month. Explain to me why you think the WWE would do that. Don't you think that they see the same thing in Bray Wyatt that you do? Look at how they're treating his character. He's feuding with big names, and he's beating big names. Daniel Bryan, The Shield, they've all fell victim, to Bray Wyatt and his family. John Cena, to me, would be the next logical step. And if it's going to be a disastrous night for the Authority, like we all think it's going to be, you got to have a heel win somewhere. This should be where he wins. Bray Wyatt should take this match. If for some reason he does not, this was my point last time. I'm not going to lose my goddamn mind over it. I'm not going to shit in my hands and eat it and tell everybody that I'm boycotting the WWE. Why don't you just take a deep breath and see where it goes? These guys will wrestle at Extreme Rules. John Cena is going to win one of those matches. You're going to have to get over that. John Cena will not lose a string of 3 straight matches to Bray Wyatt. It's not going to happen. He'll win at least once. So maybe the one win he gets is at WrestleMania. To me, a John Cena loss would do nothing for his character status. He will still be just as big as ever, where a Bray Wyatt loss could be a little bit more harmful. That's why I'm in agreement with everybody who wants Bray Wyatt to win, but I think, this feud is going to carry on. It's going to last a little while, and I think each guy is going to get their share of one-ups on the other before the whole thing is ended. So I want Bray Wyatt to win, and I'm predicting Bray Wyatt to win, but if he loses, just don't throw yourself off the Empire State Building. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. I'm really looking forward to this match, although I wasn't really thrilled with the build. I mentioned in my last commentary that they did not do a very good job of convincing me that Brock Lesnar has a chance to beat the streak. He looked weak in the build-up. He finally got one over on The Undertaker by hitting him with the F5 a week before WrestleMania, but all the other interactions, it's been all Taker. He's been absolutely fearless of Brock Lesnar, and I actually think he seemed more concerned with CM Punk last year with all of the mind games that CM Punk was playing with him with Paul Bearer. I think this year it's just a matter of who's tougher, and who's tougher than The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So far in the history of the wrestling business, no one. Brock will be the victim of a tombstone and a pin 1, 2, 3. Streak continues. Taker takes that match. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. The winner of this match is inserted into the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight title. The placement of this match should be very interesting too. I think it could go a lot of ways. I think this could be a candidate for the opening match. I would like to either see the Battle Royal, Cena versus Wyatt, or Bryan versus Triple H open the show. I think this would be a really interesting match to open the show, and it would help Daniel Bryan if he's going to have a brutal match with Triple H. He's going to have all show to try to recover before the main event. But I also think they could go in the opposite direction. I think this match could precede the main event. I think that would be an interesting take on it, to have Daniel Bryan and Triple H wrestle in the second to last match, and the winner just stays in the ring. And I can see it right now, after Daniel Bryan is just brutally beaten by Triple H, and however they book him to win, I have no idea how they're going to do it. But if he's able to somehow defeat Triple H, I can just see him laying there in the center of the ring while Randy Orton and Batista make their entrances. And this might also give the WWE an opportunity to get Triple H out of there. If Triple H loses earlier in the show, you would have to think logically that, well, if Triple H lost, don't you think backstage after the match he's going to do everything he can? He's going to be so angry, and so determined to make sure that Daniel Bryan is not going to be able to win the title, that he's going to pull some strings or do something, or pull some sort of shenanigans to just try to get this match to not happen. Well, if they do it right before the main event, they could have Vince come out and say, Triple H, I'm sorry, you have to get out of here. Maybe even security has to escort an angry and pissed off and raging Triple H out of the building. All of the other authorities' henchmen like Kane and the New Age Outlaws have already been decimated by the Shield. And then you throw in the possibility of maybe a surprise visitor. Maybe the Shield makes an appearance. There's all sorts of ways it could go. I mentioned that it's all about the ride, then I want the WWE to get creative. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it, how they book the finish. I'm very curious, how creative they're actually going to get. But I am going to predict that Daniel Bryan defeats Triple H. I don't know how he's going to do it. All I know is he's going to do it. And that brings us to the main event. A lot of people have mentioned that they think that the WWE might turn this into a four-way. I could see that. Storyline-wise, it would make sense. Maybe Daniel Bryan gets what Triple H considers a cheap victory, and he just changes the rules as he goes along and says, your victory over me was a fluke, it's bullshit, you should have never beaten me, so I'm going to be in the main event as well. I actually don't think that's going to happen. Even though it would make sense storyline-wise, I think it's going to be a triple threat match. I think it's going to be just just what the WWE has advertised. And I think maybe the crux of the Daniel Bryan and Triple H match will be that Triple H underestimated Daniel Bryan. I can hear him on Raw right now. Can you hear him? I wouldn't even be surprised if Triple H is Daniel Bryan's first title defense. But I'm expecting the main event to be Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton and Batista. Now, again, I don't know how they're going to book this either. I think they're going to go the simple route. I mentioned there could be some outside interference or just a lot of chaos, and when the smoke clears, Daniel Bryan, is able to get a roll-up. I think of back when the Hart Foundation, this is a strange reference, but back when the Hart Foundation beat Demolition at SummerSlam 1990. This was when the Legion of Doom came out and Demolition had 3 members. There was only supposed to be 2 in the ring, but Axe was hiding under the ring. He kept coming in, there was all sorts of confusion going on. The Harts were getting the crap beaten out of them. Finally, the Legion of Doom come out to the ring to figure it all out. You got 7 or 8 guys out there. The referee is fucking confused as hell. Nobody knows what the hell is going on except for the Harts, who always have their head in the match. Bret Hart gets a quick little roll up on Crush, 1, 2, 3, and the roof comes off of the Philadelphia Spectrum. I would like to see a finish like that, where there's just a lot of chaos. Another similarity, remember when Mankind won the title in 1999 on Raw, and the Corporation was involved, and DX came out, and Stone Cold hit the ring and cleaned house with a chair. It's just complete fucking pandemonium out there, and when all of the dust settles, you got Mankind with his arm laid over the Rock. The referee gets down, 1, 2, 3, and new champion, and it was the same type of reaction from the crowd. The roof exploded. It was a great moment. So if you can make the whole booking of the match, interesting and take you on that roller coaster ride that, only good wrestlers can do, I think this could be an amazing moment. I think it has great potential. So for that reason, I predict Daniel Bryan to win the WWE World Heavyweight title in the main event at WrestleMania 30. Those are my predictions. I am tired of defending my arguments of just wait and see. Triple H will put over Daniel Bryan. Don't worry. I'm still getting messages from a lot of people saying, what if Triple H wins the belt at WrestleMania 30? I'm getting this sickening feeling that it really might happen. I just don't think so. Not at this pay-per-view. This is WrestleMania 30. I just don't see any feasible way the WWE could have 3 heels in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 30 just because they can. That's the fans' arguments in this. That's the haters' arguments. The WWE doesn't give a shit about us. They're going to do what they want to do. Yeah, you're right. They might do what they want to do. But they're not going to put 3 heels in the main event of WrestleMania 30. That is absolute fucking insanity. No matter how bad the WWE wants to stick it to the fans, they're not going to stick it to them like that. Because the only people they're going to be screwing over is themselves. They are going to have a damn near riot in that place if they do it. Even though it would generate a ton of heat and would be probably one of the biggest heel moments of all time, the Authority has been having some of the biggest heel moments of all time for the last 7 months. This has been building and building and building to culminate at WrestleMania. Back last summer, the Authority was new. Now it's been running its angle for many, many months here, and this thing is all set to explode at WrestleMania. And there's going to be a whole new day dawning, on this Sunday. And I think Daniel Bryan is going to win the title. You fucking negative Nancys out there, you haters, is there anybody out there other than myself that is proud of Daniel Bryan, win, lose, or draw? Regardless of what happens to him at WrestleMania, think about where he came from. The WWE at WrestleMania 30, a company that has done nothing but push giants and muscleheads and superstars and supermen, they're having a little undersized, rugged, worldwide wrestler occupying one of the top spots in the company and most likely is going to win their world title at their biggest show of all time. And even if he doesn't, he's in the main event. He's in the semi-main event. He's a big part of the show. He's a big part of the roster, and he's a big part of the WWE success. And when you think of Daniel Bryan's road that he took to get to where he is today, how come everybody is so worried about him getting buried and shit on and fucked over by the WWE? What are you talking about? This guy has got a great career. He is about to marry a beautiful woman. He's young. He's a good wrestler. He's the last of a dying breed. The Jerichos, the Benoits, the Eddie Guerreros. There's not many of those guys left. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan was really all we had. And for all of the focus they have on sports entertainment and making their product more of a show, and the big musclehead, beautiful tan-bodied stars that they have more good looks, that they have wrestling abilities, every now and then the WWE gives us the wrestler. They gave it to us at WrestleMania 10. They gave it to us at WrestleMania 20. They're going to give it to us at WrestleMania 30. And my biggest prediction of all is that this WrestleMania will be great. I didn't think it was great last year. This year it will be. I hope everyone enjoys the show. I hope everyone is able to watch it live. You can friend me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I will be chatting with all of you throughout the show. I plan on having the whole day off, so I will start watching everything on the network, starting from the couple of pre-shows they have throughout the day. I'm going to treat it as if it was the Super Bowl. So I will be sitting in my office with 3 computers, an iPad, and an iPhone turned on, so I will be wired for WrestleMania. And I will be up here with a WrestleMania 30 reaction video a couple of hours after the pay-per-view. So let's buckle our seatbelts and hope that we actually need them and the WWE takes us on an amazing ride. It should be a lot of fun. Enjoy WrestleMania 30, and I will talk to you late Sunday night. Peace.